picture, let me set the scene. I know when I have children, they will know what it means. And I pass on these things my family's given to me. Just love and understanding, positivity.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Daphne, and let's talk about my 4th week of pregnancy.
We could change this whole world with a piano.
Okay, so first let's talk about how I'm feeling this week and the signs and symptoms that I have of being pregnant. So I had an inkling that I was pregnant before I even took the test, which is why I took the test in the first place. And if you haven't watched that video, I will link it below and you can watch me be very surprised finding out that I'm pregnant. So I had my IUD out about 4.5 weeks ago, and we did not think that I was going to get pregnant immediately. First of all, because my first 2 pregnancies, it took us 3, 4, maybe even 5 months. I don't exactly remember, but it took us a few months to conceive. And so we thought, with it being a few years later, and now that I'm in my 30s, we thought that it would just take a little bit longer to conceive. So our original plan was to start trying in around April to maybe early summer. But we got pregnant immediately, right away, within a couple of weeks of having my IUD out. And the reason why I was surprised that I was pregnant when I took the test was because I didn't get a period. So I had a little bit of bleeding right after I had my IUD out, which is very normal, and it can just be from the irritation of having it removed. So I wasn't looking for ovulation because I didn't think that I had a cycle, which I thought how it worked was that you would get your period and then a few weeks later you would ovulate, and then from there we could kind of start, oh my gosh, I'm out of breath, pregnancy symptom. Anyway, I thought that we would be able to track and I would know, and that's how I've done it in previous times when I got pregnant, was I was able to track and we knew, like, I ovulate this day, and then 14 days later I would take a test, and usually for a few months it would be negative. And this time it wasn't like that at all. I was waiting and waiting for my period to come, and probably, like, I guess maybe a week and a half ago now, I started having some cramping, and I was like, great, okay, my period's gonna come. Like, at least now we know and we can track moving forward. And it gave me kind of a starting point for starting to track my cycle so that we could know when we were going to try for a baby. And so I started having some cramping maybe a week and a half ago. And it was weird. And that was kind of, I didn't think I was pregnant at the time because I didn't even think that was really, feasible. I knew it was a possibility, but I wasn't thinking about it like that. And so when I had this cramping, I was writing it off. I thought it was my period starting. And so the cramping lasted a few days, and it was pretty intense at times. And now thinking about it, knowing that I'm pregnant, it was probably implantation cramping. So your fertilized egg kind of burrows into your uterine lining. And now that I know that's what that was, totally makes sense. So that was probably the first symptom that I didn't realize that I had of pregnancy. Now, the second symptom that I had, and the one that caused me to take the test, was the fact that I was nauseous. And now knowing what I know, and we'll talk about my due date in a little bit, but for where I'm at in pregnancy, it's pretty early to have nausea and vomiting at that point, but I get really bad morning sickness in my pregnancies, and it starts right away. So I'm not sure how far along exactly I was when I started having the nausea, but it comes to me in these like huge waves where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna vomit. And so that happened to me, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, we didn't eat anything weird. Why would I be having this nausea? And so I was like, whatever, I'll just take a pregnancy test. And of course, yeah, it was positive. So that's my biggest symptom so far, has been the nausea. So I am sick from the second that I wake up in the morning until I go to bed, and it's all day, and it's just constant nausea. So that's my biggest symptom right now in week 4. And I would say that I started getting nauseous just probably 2 weeks after conception. So right when I was 4 weeks pregnant, or maybe even 3.5 weeks pregnant. Like the second that HCG started going up in my body, I got sick. So I just know my body is really, really sensitive to pregnancy hormones, and it makes me very nauseous, and it makes me vomit, multiple times a day for the first like 3 months of pregnancy. And that's just the way it is. And that's fine. So there's that morning sickness. And then the other big symptom that I'm having with this pregnancy, and that I've had with both of my prior pregnancies, is just extreme fatigue. And pretty much any woman that you talk to who has gone through a first trimester of pregnancy can tell you that there is nothing in the world like the exhaustion that you feel in your first trimester of pregnancy. So usually I get up, I have a little bit of energy, I get the girls to daycare. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, if you don't know, both girls. And so I get them to daycare, and then about half of the days of the week I go to the gym, and I'm a swimmer, so I do a swim cardio workout. And then by the time that I get home, I'm ready to be done, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. And so recently I've been just having a coffee either before my workout or right after my workout to try to get me through the first half of the workday. And then I'm noticing that by 10 o'clock, I'm really dragging. Like I'm so tired, and I am ready to go back to sleep. So doctors recommend that you stick to 400, what is it, 400? I don't even know what the units are that they count caffeine in. It's like micrograms or milligrams, I'm not sure, of caffeine per day. It's 400 is the number. So that's roughly 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day. And I need 2. Like your girl needs 2 cups of coffee to make it through. So I have 1 in the morning, and then recently, like I've been laying down at lunch, like no matter what, I'm gonna get 30 minutes of sleep at lunchtime. And the second my head hits the pillow, I'm asleep, like snoring. And then I wake up and I have my second cup of coffee, and I drag myself through the second half of the workday, and then pick up the girls from daycare and, get dinner ready and hang out with them and do whatever. And then they go to bed between 7:30 and 8. And then at 8 o'clock, I'm done. I'm like, I crawl in bed, like I'm ready to go. And I sleep from 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9 until the next morning at like 6:30. So yeah, my sleep is crazy, and I'm so tired, and I have to sleep all the time. And that's just the way that it is right now. So yeah, right now, those are my big symptoms, just the morning sickness and the fatigue. One other thing that I've noticed, and this is probably TMI for anyone who actually knows me in person, but if you're watching a pregnancy video, this is what you've signed up for. So, the other feeling that I've gotten that was kind of weird, and I have had this just a few times, is, my breasts have been feeling very strange. Like, if you are a mother, or if you've ever breastfed a baby, there's this feeling that you get called letdown. Sorry, my video is gonna keep cutting like out at random places like that, because every time we get a phone call in our like work software, it minimizes a video that I'm taking. I'll try to figure that out for next time. Anyway, what I was talking about was I keep getting this feeling of letdown, which if you're a breastfeeding mother, you know exactly what it feels like. It's very strange. It kind of feels like a burning tingle. It's not painful. It just feels like a burning tingling sensation. And a few times I've been like, whoa, like, hey, am I like lactating? What's going on? And no, I just keep getting that feeling, and it's very disconcerting. It's strange. So yeah, that's what I've been feeling, and I haven't had any like pain or tenderness or anything. I know that's super common, and I have not gotten any of that yet, but I'm sure it'll come soon. In terms of my stats and stuff like that, so I haven't gained any weight so far in this pregnancy. In fact, I've lost about 5 pounds in the past week and a half or so, and that's just due to the nausea and the fact that every single food just sounds horrible. Like normally at nighttime, like I crave sweets and I want to eat things that are not super, super healthy. But recently, like I can't find anything that I want to eat. There is just nothing. So I've been just forcing myself to eat, and it's, you know, I've been making healthier choices because I'm not craving anything. Like there's nothing that sounds good, and I have to just sit down and be like, you're gonna eat this because otherwise your baby is going to starve. So that's been really difficult, and I'm hoping, I mean, I know it's not a problem to lose weight in the first trimester, and I know a lot of women do just because of the nausea and vomiting, and it's not a problem until you lose like 10% of your body weight, and I'm not anywhere near that, so we're good. I'm just hoping that I can continue to make sure that I'm getting in the nutrition that I need, and yeah, so we'll see. I actually had to call my midwife and ask if there was anything that I could take, just because I had lost, 5 pounds in just over a week. And she prescribed me a medicine called Zofran, and it's a nausea medication. It's supposed to kind of take the edge off the nausea. And I've taken it twice so far and have not really noticed much of a difference in my nausea and vomiting. I'm still throwing up, 5, 10, 15 times a day, and it's just par for the course for me. So my midwife said we'll try the Zofran if I keep losing weight at a rapid pace. Like if I'm losing 5 pounds a week, like we're gonna have to try something else. That's not sustainable. And so we'll just see. And she said there's another med that we can try called Reglan. I'm not sure how you say it, but that's another option that we can try if we really have to. So other than that, I'm just really focusing on trying to eat as much as I can. And when I can't eat, just at least trying to get in fluids so that I don't get dehydrated. Okay, so enough about me. That was my experience this week at 4 weeks pregnant. And let's talk a little bit about the baby. So this week, the baby is tiny, and the baby is about the size of a little, this is a sesame seed, but it's in between a sesame seed and a poppy seed. So very, very small, just like this. But I think that's so cool. That's awesome. I mean, that is visible. Like if you could open up my stomach and see inside, like you'd be able to physically, I just dropped the baby. You would be able to physically see the baby, and I think that is so cool. And it makes me wonder what baby actually looks like, and I think it's so cool. And within the next few weeks, like the baby's going from this tiny size to like the size of a blueberry and then the size of a grape. Like the baby, it just grows so fast. Like imagine if you were doubling your height every week. Like that's insane. That's crazy growth, and it's just so awesome that it's happening inside of me. And I am so glad that I get to record this and remember, because it's such a cool time. It's the best. Even though I feel sick and I'm so tired, like how wonderful that I have a human growing inside of me. And being not a first-time mom, like when you're a first-time mom, you're so excited and it's all new. But now I have children, and I have this relationship with my children, and I'm so close to them, and I know them as people. And the fact that this baby in my belly is going to be this human, oh, I'm gonna get emotional. The fact that this baby in my belly is gonna be this human that I love so much. Like how amazing that I'm going through this, and that person is like in my belly right now and so close to me, and like it's just such a special thing, and I'm so excited and I'm so happy, and I'm so nervous, and like this tiny little baby, like please stay with us, and I hope that the baby's okay, and that I don't have a miscarriage. It's a fear that is always constantly there, and I'm not one who has had miscarriages, and so I can't speak to the pain that someone must feel when they go through that, but I don't know. I'm so scared thinking about losing this pregnancy. And at 4 weeks, your chance of losing a pregnancy is about 1 in 5. So on one hand, I'm so excited and so happy and imagining the future. And on the other hand, I'm so scared. And I really want to protect this tiny little like poppy seed sized baby that is in my belly. So just two sides of the same coin. Yeah. What else is there to know about the baby? I'll insert a picture of what the baby looks like right now. It doesn't even look like necessarily like a baby. It looks, depending on what app that you're looking into, and I use a few different apps to track the pregnancy, but it either looks like a creepy, like tadpole type thing, or it just looks like a ball of cells. It doesn't even look like human-like at all. It doesn't look like anything. It's just kind of like this circle ball of cells, and it's being nourished not through my body yet, but through something called a yolk sac, which was in the egg. And so it's like we're not even necessarily connected yet. Of course, the baby is implanted in my uterus, but the placenta hasn't even taken over to be nourishing the baby yet. So that will happen within the next few weeks. And yeah, for now, like I don't even think our bloodstreams are connected. Baby doesn't have a brain. Baby doesn't have a heart or anything like that. It's really early, and baby has just now been considered an embryo. So yeah, it's not exactly a cute little baby yet. It's just a creepy clump of cells that I am so in love with. So, crazy. So yeah, so that's how the baby is doing this week, and that's how I'm doing this week. And I already did in the intro a little montage of my belly, but let me just show you what it's looking like right now. So this is where we're at. It's more like a little burrito belly. So yeah, and that's just like leftover pooch from my previous pregnancies. Nothing yet in terms of like actual bump, but I know that will be coming in the next, I'm trying to think of when I started showing with my last pregnancies. Probably somewhere in between the 2 and 3 month mark is where you start noticing an actual difference. For now, my jeans are fitting me fine. In fact, they're fitting a little bit better because of the 5 pounds that I've lost. But yeah, nothing exciting in the bump region. So you can keep checking back. And I do tend to show a little bit earlier than I think a lot of people, probably just because of the way that my body is shaped and my proportions. Like my belly is just like, hey, I'm here. So I would think that by 8 or 9 weeks, there will at least be a little something. And I'm noticing that at night, it's obviously not a bump because, the uterus is still so small and the baby is so small, but I'm noticing that I have rounding and bloat where before it was more kind of flat. So we'll see how quickly I end up getting a bump. I'm really excited. I love being pregnant. I love having a baby bump. I think it's the cutest thing, and it's so fun to dress and everything. But for now, I'm like, yay, my jeans still fit, and I don't have to go buy like pregnancy specific clothing. So that's great. But when it does happen, I'll be so excited. So yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else about this week. I don't think so. We're not telling people yet. We are keeping this news to ourselves for now, and I don't know like what the plan is. We don't even have a plan because Pete right now Pete's out of town. He's in California taking the bar exam to become a licensed attorney in California. He already has his bar or whatever you call it in Michigan where we live, but yeah, so my husband is out of town this week. I'm alone with the girls. We are moving. We don't actually have a moving date, but it's going to be sometime in the next like 3 to 4 weeks that we're moving. So I'm like frantically trying to pack up our house, and everything is just crazy. So in between packing, taking care of the girls, and taking care of this baby and myself, like life is just crazy right now, and it's insane. And But it's fun. It's so cool. Like this time in our life, I know is gonna fly by so fast because A, it's so busy, and B, like there's so much exciting stuff that I'm so excited about. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video about my 4th week of pregnancy, and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see how this pregnancy progresses and what our life is like in the next few weeks as we move to a new home and tell our friends and family that we're expecting our 3rd baby and everything like that. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.